a big, big land way up north, they say, where the summer sun shines 24 hours a day. Well, I've heard a lot of said about the land up there where the northern lights dance and play, about the wide open country and the spaces everywhere, way up Alaska way. So I took a little run way up Alaska way, and I staked a little claim when I'm mucking in the sand and clay. Well, I dug into the ground just looking for the ore and hoping I'd be rich any day. Then I finally found the gold that I was looking for, way up Alaska way. There is beauty in the land, from the thunder to the sea and the deep blue sky every day. And the mountains are the biggest and the wind blows free, way up Alaska way. Well, I met a pretty girl way up Alaska way, and we built a little cabin, and I know we're here to stay. We found a little valley where the grass grows high, where the tall timbers wave and sway, where the mighty mountain peaks are reaching high into the sky, way up Alaska way. There's a big, big land way up north, they say, where the mountains meet the sky, way up Alaska way. Well, I know a lot is said about the land up here where the northern lights dance and play, about the wide open country on the last frontier, way up Alaska way. There's beauty in the land, from the thunder to the sea and the deep blue sky every day. And the mountains are the biggest and the wind blows free, way up Alaska way, way up Alaska way, way up Alaska way. Came down from Alaska just a year ago, and I hit this big old city with its bright lights and glow. Got gold in my pockets and money here to burn. I tried to settle down, but all I do is yearn. Take me back, back, back to stay. The call of Alaska calling me that way. I can hear, yes, I can hear the call of Alaska, the last frontier. Oh, I miss the majestic mountains reaching for the sky, and I miss the blue-green waters of the rivers tumbling by. I hear the husky howl and I hear the Northwind sigh. I hear the song of summers, the winter says goodbye. Take me back, back, back to stay. The call of Alaska calling me that way. I can hear, yes, I can hear the call of Alaska, the last frontier. The call of Alaska, the last frontier. The call of Alaska, the last frontier. The call of Alaska. Was there a power unknown to this world that caused it to tremble and shake? Or was there a reason we mortals don't know for the big Alaskan earthquake?
birthday up there on Alaska's shore. Good Friday before the Easter weekend in the year 1964. An earthquake came roaring through early that night, rolling its way through the land. From the ocean to the mountains it rumbled along, though guided by some unknown hand. At first the earth rolled gently and slow, nothing to be much concern. It was only a regular tremor, they said. When it's over, the peace would return. Stronger and stronger it rumbled along, and the buildings were tumbling down. It trembled, it twisted, it heaved and it roared, spread terror and fear all around.
The ground opened wide, deep gorges of death, then closed and opened once more. And the victims that fell in its pathway were gone, as the jaws of the earth closed the door. And buildings were falling and burning that night, destruction and fear everywhere. Then a great tidal wave rushed from the ocean to find more death, heartaches, destruction, and despair. And then finally the trembling and shaking were gone. There was peace in the earth once again. But the tragedies left on that Easter weekend in memory would always remain.
Was there a power unknown to this world that caused it to tremble and shake? Was there a reason we mortals don't know for the big Alaskan earthquake? Was there a reason we mortals don't know for the big Alaskan earthquake?
Of an ambulance is speeding through the town, and maybe you have heard the hiss and roaring of an African lion crawling round, or the wild piercing cry of the tiger at night as he stalks his prey, or the railroad locomotive whistle as it sped through the night on its way. But the sounds of the jungle are a whisper you've heard not, I assure you, till I've told of the blood-curdling cry of the Kee Bird in the North Arctic's cruel, frigid cold. For its crying is so awe-inspiring, it freezes the blood, so I'm told, as the Kee Bird is flying round the Arctic, crying keep, 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 right, but it's cold. Well, they call it the Kee Bird of the Arctic. It's large, it's hideous, and it's bold. In the night as it's flying round the Arctic, crying keep, 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 right, but it's cold. Eskimos are resting in their igloo, toss fretfully around in their sleigh, and the huskies are sleeping in a snowbank, start a burrowing way down deep. For there's strange things happen in the Arctic, and many weird tales they have told, but their voices they drop to a whisper at the cry, Kiki writes, but it's cold. Well, they call it the Kee Bird of the Arctic. It's large, it's hideous, and it's bold. In the night as it's flying round the Arctic, crying Kiki writes, but it's cold. Crying Kiki writes, but it's cold.
A miner who lived all alone in a little log cabin he'd built for his home. Was tired of living a lonely, sad life. Went into the city to buy him a wife. He was bearded and dirty and homely as sin, chewing tobacco all over his chin. The gold that he carried in a poke on his arm, to the girls he'd be handsome and so full of charm. In the city he wandered to every saloon, the dance halls, the hotels, and every bar room. He looked and he searched, he was bound he would find some sweet loving woman, her charms to entwine. He spied a young maiden, the cutest he'd seen, red lips and blue eyes, a real miner's queen. Here is the girl that he'd take for his bride, back to his cabin to live by his side. He said to this maiden, you're the one meant for me. I'd be oh so happy if my wife you would be. I'll make you a deal and a promise to pay an ounce of my gold for every pound that you weigh. He opened his mouth, he smiled and he leered. The chillin' tobacco ran over his beard. She looked at this miner and turned white and pale. She said not a word and then stepped on the scale. 125 pounds she did weigh, $4,000 of gold he would pay. But he was tired of living alone. He now had a wife he could call all his own. He roared at the miners, come gather around. I'll buy you a drink for the maiden I found. He kissed his sweet woman so tender and dear, put chewing tobacco all over her ear. But sad is the story, for the very next dawn he woke in the morning, his true love was gone. He looked for his gold, and a letter did see, your chewing tobacco is too much for me. She'd taken his fortune, 'tis sad but it's true. She made him so lonely, so mad and so blue. And now he's decided, instead of a wife, to keep chewing tobacco the rest of his life. I'm a-living in the city, it's a wonder I'm alive. People dashing here and there like bees around a hive. Cars are going everywhere, racing for their time. I think I'll have to leave this place or I'll be getting mine. I'm a-going to Alaska where it's 65 below. I'll rub my nose and I'll make love with an Arctic Eskimo. I'll have no worries to bother me, not even cold and snow, while I'm making love in an igloo with an Arctic Eskimo. We go to see the neighbors, they live on the next door lot. Well, maybe they've got something that we just haven't got. It's driving me to drink and making mortgage payment low. The most important thing it seems is a living like the Joe. I'm a-going to Alaska where it's 65 below. I'll rub my nose and I'll make love with an Arctic Eskimo. I'll have no worries to bother me, not even cold and snow, while I'm making love in an igloo with an Arctic Eskimo. Packing up and leaving and going far away. I'm a-leaving all my mortgage loans for someone else to pay. I'm a-going to Alaska and to be a sourdough. I'm a-gonna live in an igloo with an Arctic Eskimo. I'm a-going to Alaska where it's 65 below. I'll rub my nose and I'll make love with an Arctic Eskimo. I'll have no worries to bother me, not even cold and snow, while I'm making love in an igloo with an Arctic Eskimo. While I'm making love in an igloo with an Arctic Eskimo. USA, found himself in Skagway one cold November day. A deck of cards in his hand, a gambling was his game. Gambling made him famous, Soapy Smith was his name. He walked into an old saloon in the northern part of town. Said he had a speech to make and the people gathered around. He climbed upon an old soapbox, loudly made it known. He was gonna run the town and call it all his own. He organized a band of men, the toughest in the land. No one dared to make a move against this gambling man. He planned to run Alaska, the Klondike and its gold. He planned a northern empire, his man's big and bold. His gang of northern bandits grew bolder day by day. They waited for the miners to come from Klondike way. They robbed them of their fortunes and they took away their gold. They left them in the mountains to die from the wind and cold. Soapy Smith was his name and a gambling was his game. He had a dream of riches big and bold. Soapy Smith had a plan, oh, this reckless gambling man. He's gonna have the Klondike and its gold. One day there was a miner, John Stewart was his name. Had a fortune from the Klondike and into Skagway came. He took an invitation from Soapy Smith's saloon. Went down to do some gambling in Soapy's private room. He woke up in the morning just at the break of dawn. He searched to find his fortune, but all his gold was gone. He joined the vigilantes on the other side of town. Put an end to Soapy's gambling and drive him in the ground. That night there was a meeting, Frank Reed was standing guard. Soapy came to see them and play his highest card. He wondered how he'd come back, alive or maybe dead. He knew they'd be there waiting to fill him full of lead. There echoed through the darkness, two shots rang out as one. And the townfolk came a-running to find both men were done. Now Soapy died a gambler, Frank Reed a hero brave. Side by side in Skagway, they lie in a narrow grave. Soapy Smith was his name, and a gambling was his game. His dream to run Alaska now is gone. Well, he played his final stand with a pistol in his hand, and
and the history of his name will linger on. In the Arctic land of cold, there's a story that is told of a ship that's roaming o'er the Arctic Sea, with an iceberg for a key and the Northwind at her wheel, the strangest ship they say there'll ever be. Where the northern oceans roll, she roams around the pole. She's frozen in the ice and riding high. She's been seen by many men as she comes and goes again. She's the phantom of the Arctic passing by. They call her the SS Cheecharko. She's the phantom of the Arctic, the Cheecharko. You may see her passing by on an iceberg high and dry. She's the phantom of the Arctic, the Eskimo. It was 1932 and the ship was almost through. She was sailing in the icy Bering Sea with a crew of 39. She was a racing for the time, for the wind was blowing cold and wintry. But the wind blew more and more and pushed her close to shore, and soon the ship was frozen all around. They said that she was through, there was nothing left to do but leave the ship and move to solid ground. They called her the SS Cheecharko. She's the phantom of the Arctic, the Cheecharko. You may see her passing by on an iceberg high and dry. She's the phantom of the Arctic, the Eskimo. With a crew of 21, they would wait for spring to come to melt the ice and the ship would then be free. Then one night they were at rest, a wind came from the west and broke the ice and sent the ship to sea. They found her one fine day, she was 50 miles away, still frozen in the ice and riding high. They left her there to roam in the Arctic Sea alone, a phantom of the Arctic passing by. They call her the SS Cheecharko. She's the phantom of the Arctic, the Eskimo. You may see her passing by on an iceberg high and dry. She's the phantom of the Arctic, the Eskimo. She's the phantom of the Arctic, the Eskimo. I came to the Yukon not too long ago. They called me a greenhorn, a young Cheecharko. They asked me, oh stranger, now what brings you here? I said to them, I like this northern frontier. One day while out walking, I strolled through the town. I saw some miners just standing around. They looked at my face, then laughed and they jeered. Said one burly miner, oh son, where's your beer? I looked at this miner and all I could see, two beady black eyes appearing at me. I looked at his face, all covered with hair. I said to him, I'm sorry, I thought you were a bear. Well, the next thing that happened, I don't quite recall. I don't even remember when it started to fall. There was Pluto and Saturn and Venus and Mars, millions and millions and millions of stars. So blue, I'm so unhappy, oh what will I do?
then I said as I peered, I know what I'll do, I'll grow me a beard. Well, I just quit shaving and made up my mind I'd grow me a beard and the biggest you'd find. I itched and I scratched and it drove me insane, but I just kept growing that beard all the same. Then came the day I went back into town. I walked in the bar and I looked all around. The miners, they laughed, they looked and they stared. I know that my beard was the joke that they shared. For months I had nursed and I cared for my beard. Nothing on earth that looked oh quite so weird. A little patch here and a little patch there. The trouble with mine was not enough hair. Now it's all over and needless to say, went back to my cabin that very same day. I shaved off my beard cause it just wouldn't grow. I guess I just can't be a true sourdough. I'll go on being a young Cheecharko. I just can't be a true sourdough. Where the Yukon meets Alaska, just along the borderline, there's a pretty young Indian maiden in a cabin made of pine. Her hair is dark and shiny and her teeth are white as pearl. She's the prettiest thing on the border, my Yukalaska girl. Alaska, if she will be mine, with a love light in my eye, I know she'll look at me and say, Yukon, now if you try. I'll hold her close so tenderly, she'll set my heart a-whirl, and I'll make love on the border with my Yukalaska girl. Hit the road, you huskies, and a bush along the way. We've got to reach the border before the end of the day. Well, the wind is a-blowing colder now, and the snow is a-gonna swirl. I'm a-gonna get some lovin' with my Yukalaska girl. Alaska, if she will be mine, with a love light in my eye, I know she'll look at me and say, Yukon, now if you try. I'll hold her close so tenderly, she'll set my heart a-whirl, and I'll make love on the border with my Yukalaska girl. From the shores of the Atlantic to Alaska's Bering Sea, to the tundra of the Arctic, there's a country wild and free. While here there lies a mystery that many men will tell. Linger and you're sure to fall a victim of her spell. Oh, give me that far Northland. They say there is gold in her sand. She's got more than yellow gold in her heart that she'll hold. Northland, in this far Northland. Now some folks like the city and some the prairie wide. There's some that like the ocean or the rolling countryside. There's some that like to gamble where the racing derbies run. There's some that like the challenge in the land of the midnight sun. Oh, give me that far Northland. They say there is gold in the sand. She's got more than yellow gold in her heart that she'll hold. Northland, in this far Northland.
starry sky, and the northern lights are whispering as they go dancing by. They tell me that the time will come when all the world will know she's got more than yellow gold and more than ice and snow. Oh, give me that far Northland. They say there is gold in the sand. She's got more than yellow gold in her heart that she'll hold Northland in this far Northland. In 1899, she came on up the line. She's gonna make the Dawson City run. 300 miles or so, where the Yukon waters flow. She's gonna serve the land of the midnight sun. To the Klondike land of gold, she'll sail the river boat. Her whistle blowing steam at every turn. With the smoke rising high into the northern sky. Oh, listen to that paddle wheeler churn. Paddle wheeler, paddle wheeler, waiting on the Yukon River shore. Paddle wheeler, paddle wheeler, I hear the captain calling all aboard. There's a bearded sourdough and the greenhorn Cheecharko. They're lined on deck with 100 men or more. As the paddles heave and churn, their dreams so brightly burn. Oh, taken to that land of yellow ore. Oh, paddle wheeler toil, where the rapids roll and boil. Oh, take your cargo safe to journey's end. Then the whistle loudly blows, and every miner knows that Dawson City's just around the bend. Paddle wheeler, paddle wheeler, churning on the river proud and grand. Paddle wheeler, paddle wheeler, they say you're the queen of this land. For 50 years and some, she made the Dawson run. Then came the day they pulled her into shore. They set her high and dry while the river flows on by, and there she's gonna rest forevermore. Now the paddle wheeler's gone, but the memories linger on to the day she was the queen in a land of gold. And I fancy that I hear her whistle loud and clear, blowing as it blew in the days of old. Paddle wheeler, resting on the Yukon River shore. Paddle wheeler, I fancy I can hear that all aboard. A paddle wheeler resting on the shore. I fancy I can hear that all aboard. She was born up in Alaska in a little mining town. Her father was a miner, the best 4 miles around. He loved his pretty daughter dear, he loved his pretty girl. Her mother died when she was born, she's all he had in the world. He gave her all his father's love, he gave her all he had. It never crossed his mind to think someday she would be sad. Her laughing eyes, her smiling face were a comfort in his home. but he knew the time would come she'd leave him here alone. Pretty little Indian maiden, Irena Cheyenne, her life is slowly fading, no one seems to understand. Of a father's love, a prison world, a cheating, gambling man, of a broken heart, a lonely girl, Irena Cheyenne. Then came the day she left her home and went on into town to find herself a lover man with a dream of settling down. She fell in love with a gambling man who cheated, drank, and lied. He loved her for a little while and cast her love aside. Pretty little Indian maiden, Irena Cheyenne, her life is slowly fading, no one seems to understand. Of a father's love, a prison world, a cheating, gambling man, of a broken heart, a lonely girl, Irena Cheyenne. Her father heard of the gambling man and into town did ride. Vengeance deep within his heart, a pistol by his side. He loved his pretty daughter dear, no man would bring her shame. This gambling man would marry her and give her child a name. He walked up to the gambling man, my daughter you will win. And the gambler laughed and a pistol roared and the gambling man was dead. They took him off to prison then, the judge said he had to go. Wrong or right he didn't mind, he loved his daughter so. Pretty little Indian maiden, Irena Cheyenne, her life is slowly fading, no one seems to understand. Of a father's love, a prison world, a cheating, gambling man, of a broken heart, a lonely girl, Irena Cheyenne. I took a trip away up north to have a little fun. A friend told me the place to go was the land of the midnight sun. Off the great Northwest, way up the great Northwest. Men, oh men up there, I swear, they wrestle with a grizzly bear. Punch his nose and comb his hair up the great Northwest. They have a brand of fishes served in every mountain brook. You have to hide behind a tree to get to bait your hook. Off the great Northwest, way up the great Northwest, mosquitoes there just seem to grow twice as big as any crow. They drink rum and beer, you know, off the great Northwest. I tried my hand at digging gold, my work was all in vain. They caught me with my pick and pan on someone else's claim. Out the great Northwest, way up the great Northwest, men, oh men out there are tough, they like to play it wild and rough. Me, I'm just a little scruff out the great Northwest. I sat one night in a poker game, but I sort of had to leave. I had 5 aces in my hand and a joker up my sleeve. Out the great Northwest, way up the great Northwest, the weather gets so cold up there, they chop a hole in the Arctic air, hibernate like a grizzly bear out the great Northwest. I took a dolly out one night, someone else's wife. When he came home, I hit the road, running for my life. Out the great Northwest, way up the great Northwest, they say to be a sourdough, there's a row you've got to hoe. Will I make it? Got a bear to go up the great Northwest. Out the great Northwest, way out the great Northwest. Once I was a Cheecharko, but now I am a sourdough. And off that bear for a loop, you know, out in the great Northwest. Well, out in the great Northwest. Good for the Eskimo, where the wind and the northern blizzards whine. I call them lonely things, where the Arctic is the king. fly was low. Been trapping in the hills since we last fall. I haven't seen a living soul at all. My home lies 100 miles away. I should be there sometime today. Oh, but that wind seems cold. Blow, north wind, blow. The snow is deep, way up to my knee. I cannot stop, for if I do, I'll freeze. Been traveling down this trail day and night. I'm tired and so weary from this fight. It must be over 45 below. I face the wind, the driving snow. Oh, but that wind feels cold. Blow, north wind, blow. Now the wind is stronger than before. I cannot seem to face it anymore. The cold has chilled my body to the bone. I wonder if I'll ever make it home. I've got to find shelter from the storm and try again tomorrow morn. Oh, but that wind is cold. Blow, north wind, blow. Back in town, my family waits for me. How I long their faces now to see. While waiting in my hole in the snow, to think of home sets my heart aglow. Now listen to that north wind howl and scream, so far away, just like a dream. Oh, but that wind sounds cold. Blow, north wind, blow. Blow, north wind, blow.
Well, gold was found in Austin town in 1898, and the miners came to stake their claim for fortune or for fame. With a pick and pan for every man, a blanket for the cold, like a winding chain they came and came to look for yellow gold. Well, this was the Yukon, it was wild, it was free, where gold and the Klondike made Yukon history. When the northern wind is blowing, ho, ho, listen and you'll hear the echo of the Yukon from the days of yesteryear. While the men were up and the women tough, some lived a life of sin. Some gave their soul for an ounce of gold or a drink of whiskey gin. And the dance hall girls, the long black curls, stood by the door so bold. They waved their thumbs and miners come and bring your poke of gold. Well, this was the Yukon, it was wild, it was free, where gold and the Klondike made Yukon history. When the northern wind is a-blowing, ho, ho, listen and you'll hear the echo of the Yukon from the days of yesteryear. There was Dan McGrew and a gal named Lou and the Yukon Cheecharko.
There was Windy Ike and a one-eyed Mike and a cotton finger Joe. There was Sam McGee from Tennessee and a man called Ace High Dan. There was Muckluck Mag and a hairless Dag and a Dawson Queenie Ann. Well, this was the Yukon, it was wild, it was free, where gold and the Klondike made Yukon history. When the northern wind is a-blowing, oh, listen and you'll hear the echo of the Yukon from the days of yesteryear. Then came the days so dark and gray and the Dawson lights were dim, and the only sound from the hills around was the wail of the northern wind. Old Dawson town has settled down, the gold rush days are gone, and the days of old are stories told where the memories linger on. Well, this was the Yukon, it was wild, it was free, where gold and the Klondike made Yukon history. When the northern wind is a-blowing, oh, listen and you'll hear the echo of the Yukon from the days of yesteryear.
When the sun sinks in the hills and the twilight slowly fills each valley with a golden sunset light, all the world seems at its best when the sun goes down to rest in the twilight of a Yukon summer night. As the shadows slowly went, another day is near the end. All nature seems to glow in splendor bright. Then the glory of his hand seems to fall upon this land in the twilight of a Yukon summer night. Twilight sunset beams kiss the silvery mountain stream. The shadows paint a picture in the light. Then the mountain peaks so high seem to tower in the sky in the twilight of a Yukon summer night. As the shadows slowly went, another day is near the end. All nature seems to glow in splendor bright. Then the glory of his hand seems to fall upon this land in the twilight of a Yukon summer night. In the twilight of a Yukon summer night.
For such is the land you never have seen, where the beauty of nature and all is supreme, where everything found is majestic and grand, so humble and strong, for such is the land. Such is the land with its mountains so high, where they rise from the valleys to the blue of the sky, and the glaciers and snow caps since time first began, have crowned them as king to watch o'er the land. It's a place that is not for the feeble or weak, nor the greedy, the selfish, or the timid and meek. It's only for those who are strong and can stand the challenge of nature, for such is the land. Such is the land when with its furious cold comes the long winter days to heed and behold. For the challenge has come to all living things, just who is the master and who is the king. Now ignorance means death, to fight is to die, to plead is in vain, and never a heed to your cry. The challenge of nature now rings with command, be strong, mortal being, for such is the land. Now such is the land when it's peaceful and still, has a beauty unrivaled only God could fulfill. When she opens her heart and in wondrous praise bursts forth in splendor her magnificent displays, then the mortal that bows and bends to his knee knows the Arctic is king and forever will be. It's then that he'll find the strength to withstand the challenge of nature, for such is the land. For such is the land you never have seen, where the beauty of nature in all is supreme, where everything found is majestic and grand, so humble and strong, for such is